Welcome back, Royal Sussex Squad. And today we're diving deep into yet another attempt by the British media to rewrite history, twist narratives, and push an old, tired divide between Prince Harry and the Princess of Wales, Catherine. Once again, headlines are trying to paint Harry as cold, distant, or even resentful in the wake of Catherine's recent health revelation. But we know better, don't we? This isn't just about royal drama. This is about how systemic power, silence, and manipulation have been weaponized against a couple who chose truth and love over tradition and toxicity. So buckle up, squad, because today we're unpacking the real reason why Harry and Catherine's bond is no longer what it used to be, and why Meghan has always been at the center of the storm, not because she caused it, but because she challenged it. To understand the disconnect, we have to rewind to the early days before Meghan Markle entered the picture. Harry was close to Catherine. He saw her as a sister, someone who brought stability to his brother's life, and by extension his own. They shared laughs, attended royal engagements together, and for a while they genuinely seemed to enjoy each other's company. So when Meghan came into Harry's life, he expected that same warmth and support to extend to his partner. But what he got instead was coolness, distance, and a wall of formality. Catherine and William were polite on the surface, but behind the scenes, suspicion and quiet disapproval brewed. Harry, who had found a partner that made him feel whole, couldn't understand why his family couldn't see what he saw in Meghan. Then came the now infamous bridesmaid dress incident, the media's favourite talking point. The story that Meghan made Catherine cry was pushed for years, but the truth, as revealed by Meghan herself, was the opposite. It was Meghan who ended up in tears and Catherine who later apologised. Yet the palace allowed the false narrative to run wild. They let Meghan be demonised in the press, all while protecting the image of the perfect future queen. That silence was more than just disappointing. It was betrayal. Meghan, who had done nothing but try to integrate into the royal fold, was left out to dry, and Harry saw it all unfold. His trust in the institution and in those closest to him began to crack. As time went on, those cracks became canyons. The couple's popularity soared, especially abroad, and the firm didn't like that. Meghan's energy, charisma, and global presence weren't embraced. They were resented. At the Royal Foundation Forum, Meghan's comment about wanting to create real, lasting impact made headlines. But instead of applause, it sparked whispers that she was overstepping. Harry and Meghan were told to know their place, which really meant stay quiet, stay small, and don't shine too brightly. But the Sussexes weren't made for dim lights. They were born to lead, to uplift, and to break cycles. And that scared the institution to its core. Their eventual exit, Megxit as the tabloids dubbed it, wasn't a tantrum. It was a necessary step for survival. Meghan had been pushed to the brink. Her mental health had suffered. Her unborn child was at risk. And even then, the palace refused to intervene. When the couple left, the narrative became one of abandonment, that Harry had betrayed his family. But in truth, the family had already betrayed him by failing to protect his wife. At the Commonwealth Day service, their final official appearance as senior royals, the coldness was palpable. William and Catherine barely acknowledged them. It was a calculated public snub, a final message that they were outcasts. Yet, even after their departure, the palace continued to brief against them. Harry's memoir, Spare, was seen as an act of betrayal, not because it was false, but because it was honest. In it, Harry shared painful truths, including how Catherine and William had played a role in encouraging the Nazi costume scandal, and how they failed to support him when the press vilified Meghan. Catherine, reportedly upset by her portrayal, felt betrayed. But where was that same concern when Meghan was driven to the edge by relentless attacks and complete institutional silence? Now, in 2024, Catherine's cancer diagnosis is an emotional moment. No one, especially Harry, takes that lightly. Despite everything, Harry and Meghan issued a kind, empathetic statement, proving once again that they lead with love. But the palace's refusal to inform Harry ahead of the public announcement speaks volumes. That kind of emotional distance isn't an accident, it's intentional. And sources close to the palace say reconciliation is possible. But only with Harry, not Meghan. That's not reconciliation, that's erasure. You cannot separate a man from his wife, from the mother of his children, and expect to rebuild trust. This is not just a family drama, it's a system problem. Meghan came into the firm with grace, with experience, with love for Harry and a heart for service. But from day one, she was treated like an outsider. The press ripped her apart. The courtiers undermined her and the family stayed silent. And Catherine? She may not have held the knife, but she certainly didn't stop the bleeding. The relationship between her and Harry didn't fall apart in a vacuum. It fell apart because one side stood by and let the other be destroyed, and then acted surprised when there was nothing left to salvage. For years, the British tabloid press has been more than just a noisy background player in royal affairs, and it's been a fully armed extension of the institution itself. The media wasn't simply reporting on Harry and Meghan's every move, it was actively shaping a hostile narrative designed to isolate, vilify, and ultimately exile them. The relentless barrage of racially tinged headlines, manipulated photo ops, and palace sources leaking misinformation was not random. It was coordinated, and it worked hand in glove with the palace's communications machinery. Rather than using its press office to refute false stories, as it often did to protect William and Catherine, the firm let the lies about Meghan fester and flourish. Whether it was the Diva Duchess narrative, the false accusations about staff bullying, or the intentional distortion of events like the Commonwealth Day service, the British media was never held accountable. In fact, it was rewarded with access and exclusives, keeping the toxic cycle spinning. By highlighting the press's role as the invisible but ever-present weapon, you expose not just the personal betrayals within the royal family, but the full ecosystem that tried to break Harry and Meghan. It wasn't just family that turned their backs. It was a media political machine that thrives on scandal, silence, and sacrifice. As time passed, subtle differences escalated into a full-blown rift. The once tight-knit trio of William, Catherine, and Harry splintered after Harry and Meghan's marriage, with Catherine growing distant. Their single-joint appearance as the Fab Four marked both a high point and the beginning of the end of public harmony. The situation worsened with the Sussexes' departure from royal duties, sparking cold public interactions, passive-aggressive behaviour at royal events, and complete emotional withdrawal behind palace walls. So, here we are, squad, watching the palace machine roll out another revisionist narrative, painting Harry as cold and Meghan as the wedge. But we know the truth. Harry has always led with heart, Meghan has always stood with dignity, and their love has always been a threat to those who operate in shadows. Catherine may be going through a personal battle right now, and she deserves privacy and healing, but that doesn't erase the years of complicity. Healing requires honesty, not just between siblings, but within an entire system that failed to protect its own. If today's breakdown gave you clarity, if it reaffirmed why we ride hard for the Sussexes, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment to let the squad know you're standing strong. And if you'd like to support more fearless, fact-based commentary, feel free to show some love through a super thanks. Here on Royal Sussex Squad, we speak truth to power, we uplift those who stand alone, and we always keep it real. Until next time, stay bold, stay beautiful, and stay loyal to the side of love, light, and truth.